just can't help it. I just can't quit you. Got me addicted. I wanna love you.
Ariel, thank you so much for making time to speak with me, especially since we're talking a whole different world right now. And who knows who's doing what, where, when, but Corona 19 or whatever they're calling it. I don't even know anymore because honestly, it just leaves my brain fried. COVID-19,
Yeah.
How are you handling this whole new world?
I'm, taking it a day at a time as we all are, as all we can do. I've been trying to make the most of it, to be honest. My situation of constantly traveling and being on the road, having that taken away, has actually been really nice in some ways. I'm really enjoying being at home long term, being in a routine, taking care of myself, just mentally and physically feeling good. Sure, I miss playing live, but I'm also very fortunate that I have different branches of a tree, per se. If the tree is music, I have other ways that I can keep busy that aren't just playing shows. So I'm managing to stay busy. I'm managing to relax and actually just enjoy the time for what it is, knowing that this probably might not happen again in our lifetime. So, just enjoy the break if you can. I know not everyone's as lucky, but just trying to make the most of it, like I was saying. Yeah.
You did. Well, technically, you have made the most of it too, because you have a new single as we speak. It's going to be coming out very soon. How did you manage to record new music during this time?
Well, I did not record it during this time. This was all recorded back in December. So we were working hard around the holiday time, December, beginning of January. So that wasn't an issue. In fact, it worked out okay because I was on the road mid-January till about the first week of March. And obviously we know that by about March 13th, that's when everything went to shit. And my plan anyways was to take time off of touring for 2 months and really work on mixes and work on the album. So the plan went as follows. It wasn't affected in that regard. But if we were recording starting in March, that definitely would have thrown a huge wrench in plans. It probably would have been impossible to do, to be honest.
Oh,
it would have been impossible. Yeah.
I agree with that. I've talked to a lot of artists, and the way they've been so creative in trying to create music during this time is absolutely amazing. Why was it the right time now to release this, man, knowing everything that you've been through for the last couple of months?
Well, originally, this was going to come out a few months earlier. This was going to be a start of the summer type of thing. But another silver lining is that, we now have the kind of gift of time. We don't know what tomorrow is going to look like. We don't even know what next month is going to look like, let alone 6 months. So in terms of deadlines and, planning 9 months in advance like we usually would do, we kind of can't do that. We kind of have to play it all by ear. So there's a bit of a freedom and flexibility in the way that we can plan these strategies, which is great. I do feel for the people that, had music coming out that first month in March. I feel like the first month and a half, the only capacity that people had in their brains was anxiety, panic, stress about this new virus, and some people couldn't bow out of a release and they had to put it out. And I know for a fact that a lot of people's releases kind of were thrown in the trash because they just weren't given the ears that they deserved. But I think by the end of April, beginning of May, people were ready for music again, I know that YouTube was at an all-time high and streaming was a bit lower just because people weren't commuting, people weren't traveling, people weren't really walking around as much. But once that started up again, it became safe to just start putting music out in the world. And by now, almost the next year already, I think people are back in that frame of mind of wanting to hear new music, and most people not musicians, of course, are back at work. So it's somewhat normalized. It's a new normal, and it can work.
I agree with everything you've just said, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of months too. Because again, as we speak, if there's a chance that there's a second wave that's going to happen, or are we going to cruise through this? And of course, throughout this summer, even though we haven't had the concert scene that we're used to, virtual has been the thing to do. Drive-ins have been the thing to do. So, we're all being creative throughout this. But when we talk about creativity, where did your creativity come from? Where did the love of music start for you, and where did you get that style from in playing the guitar?
Well, I come from a musical family. My parents are both musicians, second generation. My mom's side are musicians, and they had a band. So I was just brought up in traveling with them and watching them perform, and music was a very regular thing in our life. It was just like our world revolved around music and song and instruments and whatnot. So I started playing guitar at an early age. I was growing up in the 90s at a time where Green Day and Nirvana and all that stuff was really popular. Like, guitar-heavy music was the most popular thing, and that's what I wanted to do. And we were brought up on the Beatles, so the Beatles anthology had come out around that same time, so it was a mix of all those things that I just really connected with that, and that's what I wanted to do. And I just started playing, kind of never looked back. It ebbed and flowed. I was in school and like high school, and I had my times of taking it seriously and not taking it seriously. But about the time I was 16, 17, I kind of just locked in, hunkered down, and put my head down and never looked back, and started working. I started working as a musician when I was 14. Started getting paid for gigs. So I've been doing it a long time now, and it's just who I am. It's not even what I do anymore. It's who I am.
How would you describe your style? Because you're considered one of Canada's favorites. People love what you do, but everybody has a certain type of technique to stand out. What is yours?
Well, I would call my music roots, and I like the term roots music because I feel like it's a tapestry of all the other genres to a degree. Like, it's not rock, but it's energetic and up-tempo at times. It's not soul or funk, but like there's a lot of R&B influence, and it is soulful. It's not country, but there's a lot of like Americana, Western influence at times as well. And there's even pop influence, but it's not pop music. Therefore, this roots umbrella embodies kind of all of those things. And in the end, it just results in my sound. And yeah, I'm known as a guitar player, definitely first and foremost, but it's not guitar music. It's guitar spearheaded songs, you could say. It's about the lyrics, it's about the singing and the arrangements and the story. And the guitar is just the tool that I use to get those out.
I'm going to jump in because I always say, people like yourself, I always say the guitar is the second voice to the music that you're recording. You may have, of course, the vocals, but I always feel like the guitar is just another vocal to the music that you're performing. Am I correct on that?
It's sometimes, for sure. I mean, the guitar is there to serve a song, and you could. Every instrument has a voice, and you could say the same thing about any instrument. Honestly,
True.
Textures and landscapes can be created with any type of instrument to produce the same effect that you get from a vocal. And when there are lyrics to songs and they're singing, it's everything's always about the vocal. It's all centered around that. But it doesn't mean that there can't be other voices. And each voice is just as important as the next one, even just as important as the vocal itself. And for me, I definitely spend a lot of time paying attention to all those textures and making sure that everything's there because it's meant to be there. Everything has a purpose. Everything has meaning. And like I said, it's there to serve the song and not to just be there to, hey, let's put on a baritone just to have a low thing for fun, or let's put on a high-strung acoustic just to give it that petty thing. No, let's have it there because it's gonna make that chorus pop, or let's put that thing there because we need a moodier kind of thing in this verse. You know, it's all about the production, and it's about serving the song. So yeah, it's all important.
Let's get to the new single then. What's the new single called, and what was the approach in making this happen?
The new single is a song called Coming Back. The approach was, you know, I got my same team back together. I co-produced this with my producer from my previous record, Murray Pulver, same engineer, Paul Yee, at the same studio in Winnipeg. I had my bass player, Julian Bradford, and I had J.J. Johnson playing drums, who some people may have seen playing with John Mayer or Tedeschi Trucks Band, Doyle Bramhall back in the day. So two people, well, Julian and I played together a lot. We hadn't played with J.J., so he's got a thing, we've got a thing. It was a learning experience just because you learn to interact with new players in different ways, but at the end of it, everyone's got the same goal and we're heading in the right direction. So it was a real, like, creative and inspiring experience. The song itself, instrumentally, had a very, you know, electric Prince D'Angelo kind of vibe. Like, they're heavier songs, big guitars, but very soulful and, like, trenchy. And those guys brought it to life. You know, the song itself is a fairly simple song in terms of the narrative, and I just wanted to make the first single be a song that I haven't even performed live yet. A lot of these songs I have been playing on the road, and this is one that I have not, and I wanted to make sure that everyone that listens to it and is waiting for it gets to all share that, you know, that same experience of hearing it for the first time and not hearing it at a show.
Something about that taste, it keeps me coming back to you. Keeps me coming back to you. Keeps me coming back to you. Keeps me coming back to you.
I gotta ask, man, how the hell did you get JJ?
Well, him and I have a mutual friend that I was playing in Nashville, and my friend was in town, and I put him on the list. He came out with I put a +1 for him, and he brought JJ down to the show.
Wow.
And yeah, and I mean, super nice guy. We kind of met there, and then down the road I was talking with my pal about this record coming up, and I had some drummers in mind. I was, you know, like a dream list of drummers I wanted to work with. And he just said, I'm sure JJ would love to do it. And I was like, really? So sure enough, he set us up, and he was all game to do it. And I flew him down. He played a show in Boston the night before the last Tedeschi Trucks gig of the year. Flew him to Winnipeg, -30 weather in December. Told him to bring a jacket and a hat, gloves and a scarf, and it was such a lovely experience. And he's become a really dear friend. He's such a nice guy, and we were actually both in London in February, crossed paths on tour, and got to celebrate his birthday with him there. He's a great guy, and obviously a fantastic musician. And it's great to have him on it for sure.
Bravo, my friend. You mentioned that this was the first song from an upcoming album. What can we expect from this?
Well, without giving too much away at this point, people that are familiar with my music already and know my songs, you know, as an artist, you want to find your voice, but you also want to evolve. You want to grow. I've stayed on the same path that I was on, but I've gotten a bit more comfortable in my own skin as an artist, as a songwriter, as a guitar player, as a singer. I feel like that's a bit showcased. I feel like the songwriting has evolved a bit and gone in different areas. So you can expect all the things you like, but more and slightly different, and hopefully not too different. It's not very different, but I think if you like what I've done already, then you'll probably like this a lot, hopefully.
When do we think that'll be happening? When do we think you'll be dropping that album?
Don't want to be giving anything away yet.
Darn.
Yes, but but sooner than later, but not too soon. And like I was saying, with the way things are right now, we're given this gift of like, well, we can play it by ear. We don't have to plan that release date 8, 9, 10 months in advance and work around it. It's ideal doing it like that, of course, but taking away that pressure, you kind of get to play it by ear a bit. So it really depends on how the world's shaping up. But that being said, I don't feel like sitting on music for too long, because your brain will start perceiving it in a different way, and I will personally will be moving on from it. So I need to get it out myself before it's too late. So not to worry, it will be out soon, but not crazy soon, but soon.
Okay. Well, to know what you're going to be doing in the next day, month, year, social media is the place to go to follow you. Where do we go to follow you?
Yeah, at Ariel Posen on Instagram. I'm not a big Twitter guy, but Instagram is my platform of choice. Facebook, everything basically at Ariel Posen, or any social media site / Ariel Posen, you'll find me, or arielposen.com.
All right, Ariel, thank you so much for making time to speak with me during these crazy times. Congratulations on the new music, man, and looking forward to when this album's coming out. And I'm going to see if I can get a hold of your people to make sure that when the album comes out, we can do another conversation, follow-up, and talk more about this great music. Thank you again for making time to speak with me.
That'd be great, man. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Be safe and talk soon.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Keeps me coming back to you. Keeps me coming back.